There's no place like home. There's no place.
Home. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
Well, hi there, and welcome to Home Wizards, where we love to help improve your home and improve your life. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
Do you feel like your life has improved already?
Yes.
Just looking around.
I walked
this
around
house.
briefly, and I wanted to get into the beds. Is that
Wait
weird?
a minute.
I just wanted to lay in there and look at the beautiful things, because you need the time to really see every little aspect in detail.
So let's set the stage for you listening now. I love to go to home tours, and who doesn't? It's a great way to be inspired by color, by texture, by design, by, oh my gosh, I've got to have that lighting fixture, that you name it.
See that one right there?
These are beautiful.
I'm taking it at the end.
And so we are at the biggest and best home tour in the country. It's known as the Pasadena Showcase House. And what we love about it is that every year, this has been a tradition for decades, the best designers throughout California converge and take about 3 months or so. And you as a contractor know, I mean, how do you get this done in 3 months?
I don't
4 months?
understand.
It's amazing.
And by the way, all the people standing around us look like superheroes to me now. They're just amazingly
They're wearing their
talented.
action hero
No, they're
costumes.
just fantastic.
So we are sitting in the back of this house. It's a 1920s, beautiful Spanish Moorish home set right at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains. A glorious day. We're in the Andalusian courtyard, and we're going to take you on this journey with us through Theater of the Mind. We're going to take you through this house, and you're going to get great ideas on things to do to your home.
That's right. Again, we'll paint pictures
We're
with
going to
words.
paint pictures.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And with us is Cassie Awiyagi, who with her husband Kirk, and their group's called Form LA, they specialize in landscaping that is good for the environment, right?
That's correct,
Yeah.
Cindy.
And we are sitting in really a piece of paradise. What was your inspiration for this?
The inspiration is that the Andalusian courtyard actually is, the house hugs it on all sides. And so when you look out of the back of the house, this is really where you go. It's the main area outside. And we were inspired to make it a draw and inviting and make it really beautiful for everyone who's inside the house.
And we're sitting on this patio. Everyone thinks about outdoor living, right? Have you ever worked on patios like this, Eric, where it's cut up pavers and then there's grass growing in between?
Yeah, I love this. It softens all the hardscape. It makes it feel accessible and that you want to hang out there instead of more like it's a parking lot environment.
Right.
I mean, and I have a question. This is rhetorical. This is to everybody out there. Why does it feel like the design was better in the 20s, the 20s and 30s? It just feels like they're honoring outdoor space in terms of all the external environment that we see. Your stuff obviously is amazing, but it just feels like this lends itself to family. Everybody kind of pours out into this courtyard.
It's California living,
yeah,
isn't
it really is.
Yeah, I think I will leave that as a rhetorical. I'm not exactly sure why the evolution takes place in architecture, but certainly these homes back then were more considered vacation homes. And so maybe we were thinking a little bit more relaxed rather than in the rushed way we think about architecture now.
Pretty good job.
Well, walk us through every little inch and corner and nook and cranny of this, because in this courtyard, I mean, there's multiple seating areas. There's a fountain, which we turned off just so we can hear you better. But you can imagine the trickling of water and this beautiful pine tree that creates a canopy. It is a pine tree, isn't it?
It's a juniper.
Juniper,
Cindy.
excuse me, juniper. Da da da. So tell us, what are you loving in this whole courtyard?
Well, what I'm loving is the organization of space, and that's really what carries you through the whole courtyard. There's a beautiful dining central focal point where there's a gorgeous Venetian plaster finish table with a metal finish around the edges. So it's got this sort of warm, contemporary, but very Spanish because of the old-looking plaster. It's set on a saltillo tile flooring, which matches the veranda that is original to the back of the house. And then the pavers bridge the gap between the dining space and the fireplace area, which has all original tile, and then we've really just cozied it up by adding the saltillo patio with the beautiful comfortable clean line furniture and the reclaimed wood in all of the furniture. And then, as you mentioned already, we have this central beautiful fountain
With turquoise tile.
with turquoise tile. And then some of the things that we've added additional to the new framework that we've created are these very old world pots. We also have a very detailed tapestry that we call our vertical wall, which is a succulent garden that's actually more like a painting that's hanging on the wall, which is a pretty wow piece when you come here.
Pretty heavy too, huh?
It took about 6 people to put that up.
Yeah, it's amazing too. And how do you get water to? You just hose it, or is there irrigation
We
to it?
use a little sprayer
Yeah.
and we just
Yeah.
water it
I love it.
lightly.
So there are layers to everything that you've done. There's steps that kind of welcome you into this back space that's just offside the home, and then there are multiple seating areas. There's even a pizza oven, isn't there?
Actually,
Or was it
there may have been a
There
pizza
may have been.
oven,
Now
but
it's just a pretend of.
it's a fireplace, and it's a functioning
But
fireplace.
you're always going to the food,
I
or
know,
Yeah.
and, or
aren't
the
you?
wine.
Yeah, or the wine. It's a place to
There's-
make wine.
There's lots of wine glasses and wine bottles out here.
Yeah.
So
You know,
good.
you know what I love too is that you're using all the space on the plaster that would traditionally just be barren and empty. But I love all the little details because it really kind of it's just more visual appeal for the eye as soon as you walk in.
It really is.
Amazing.
It's
It cozies it up.
It's a
doesn't it?
multi-sensory experience. So for those of us who are now thinking, hey, we want to spend more time outdoors, don't just be thinking about rushing out and buying plants first. Think about all the different layering techniques, right? I mean, how could we learn from what you've done and look at our own yard and go, oh boy, it's not quite like Cassie's.
No, it'll never be.
They help us.
Well, I think when you look at you first look at your views and your circulation, and when you're looking at your circulation and your flow of traffic and the highly used areas, you want to make those arteries very open and clear. And what we've done here is we've used the pavers with the grass joints to really
Connect, kinda?
well, pronounce the circulation. And then we've changed the material, and that's a trick you can do in outdoor design to actually accentuate or pronounce the actual destination areas. And so that's
Uh-huh.
one little trick, and then you can break those areas up with little pockets of planting.
So meaning you have these are what kind of pavers are these?
So these are actually precast concrete
Precast concrete,
pavers.
and then you have the tile.
Mhm.
So you have two different types of flooring surfaces.
I like that though, the idea where you're not concentrating so much on how you're getting there, but when you end up at the destinations, and you make those the places that you
Right.
honor, because it's too overwhelming, isn't it? If it's
Oh,
everything at one time, it's just
Yeah,
too much.
and
isn't
it is a little bit of a reveal bit by bit as Cindy's talking about the layering, and it all sort of spills out slowly.
And you've chosen a lot of containers. I always love container gardening. And you've mixed up the colors and textures here too. Turquoise is a theme, so we have kind of some bluish
Yes.
glazed containers in threes, right? You want to think of pairing them in threes.
Well, odd numbers are usually a little bit more designer friendly, and so yes, we have ones, threes, fives, and sevens. There's not too many fours and twos.
It just feels balanced that way.
There's something about it.
And then pops of red that we're seeing. Talk about the red, because that seems to be a theme throughout the palette of the house. It's kind of a paprika, cinnamon.
Yeah, well, I'm
Arabian
sure
red.
the interior designers will talk a little bit more about this, but there is a palette that you're sort of inspired by that's given to you by the Showcase House panel. And so some of the tile that's here actually inspired that palette, and so we really pulled off of that, because you do, even though the house is in the 20s and you're doing this in the 21st century, you do want it to feel like it didn't just appear, that it was always here, and hence some of these very old looking pots that are very old world and smattered with rust looking speckles.
With varying heights of plants, right?
yep.
And then one of my favorite surprises, Eric, is over there in what I guess could have been the pizza oven, and is the fireplace.
Well, in my opinion, should have been the pizza oven.
It's these hanging air plants, and talk about what you did, because that's a creative, fun thing we can all do.
Yeah, well, at Showcase House, you can't always have a fire going. It's not the easiest thing to accomplish. So we didn't want this to be this vacuous space where everybody's saying it should be a pizza oven.
Yeah.
So we actually got some fishing line, hung these air plants, which are called tillandsias, and they just look like little floating fairies. And then we put an urn at the base with a plant that's actually called sticks on fire. And so that's our fire, and then the tillandsias are the smoke plumes coming
Great.
up.
No, it's totally
It's
like
just
little
beautiful.
fairies floating. Very,
Really
very
is.
clever. Tell us about your website so people can find more of what you do.
It's really easy, formlainc.com. DuPont.com.
Thank you, Cassie Aoyagi.
Thanks, Cassie.
Great space, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Well, coming up next, how to create a beautiful living room. You know, living rooms are kind of tricky. Instead of the look, don't touch, we want it to be comfortable. We're going to talk with this designer who made it elegant, but also sweet enough for your dog.
Perfect. And by the way, I covet his blazer.
Oh, I know.
I want his blazer.
Colors, by the way, which are all part of the Dunn Edwards paint line.
Oh.
They provide the paint, as you know, and you're going to want to check out their gorgeous selection for your next paint project at DunnEdwards.com. Home Wizards Cindy Dole and Eric Stromer.
When the sun goes, that's the sound.
We were just at the Kitchen and Bath show in Chicago not too long ago, and we learned so much about the new trends and the new must-haves for the kitchen. And one of the things that people are talking about, that designers are watching, is solid surfaces. And the reason is, in fact, it's among one of the top overall trends for kitchens and baths in this country, is that the solid surface, it is a sustainable material. And it's also really easy to clean. And Eric, I know you're all about, well, easy to clean in the kitchen.
Easy to clean and keeping the
The
chicken
chicken.
juice at bay. You know what I mean? I don't like it.
Yeah, well, anyway, at DuPont, they have come up with these beautiful variations of corian, which we have in our own kitchen. And what's great about it is it looks like you see the veining of stone, but yet you don't have those cracks and crevices where the little oops is getting in there.
And one easy wipe into the sink and you're done.
Done.
Yep.
So check it out. Go to CindyKitchenProject.com or go to DuPont's website and look at corian. You'll see all the great ways to use these solid surfaces, also in the shower, in your bathroom, in your kitchen. DuPont's corian, it is amazing.
Isn't that Huey Lewis?
It's all about working for a living.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards, where we love to help after all that working for a living. You go home to that place you call home, and you go, life's pretty good. You know?
Yeah, but in our case, well, mine, I go home and I don't have this house.
I know, I know.
This is not my life.
Okay, well,
I feel so disappointed.
don't be going there. This is a great place to be inspired. We're talking about the biggest and best home showcase house where you can tour it, and every year it's been a tradition where the designers, the best around California, attack, and they are assigned and choose a space in this home. It's always a nice palatial home where you have so many different destinations to really see how it's going to come together. And with us is the designer who did the living room, hence the working for a living.
Yeah, and I'll well, no, I got it. I hear you. But you know what? I walked into the living room and I saw this piano, and it feels like sometimes in rooms pianos don't necessarily fit. But in this case, I don't know why. I just want to sit down and start doing a Liberace thing.
Yeah, well,
with a candelabra.
you have that music in you.
I do. It just feels cozy and warm. People come gather around while I play a song. That's how it feels in there.
Well, let's meet the guy. Albert Jans is the designer who worked the living room. Welcome, Albert.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So this home, 1920s home, Spanish, Moorish type place. When you were in that living room originally, what did you see and what did you say, you know what, this is all wrong. I need some help.
Well, it really wasn't wrong. It was just that I really felt it needed to be warm, and I wanted to be casual. I wanted a welcoming living room, a place that people like to gather. Living rooms have a tendency to be spaces that people put a little red velvet rope across them, and
how did you know how I grew up? Stop it! Stop reading my mind.
The plastic runners, the seat covers, right?
Yes.
Like look, don't touch.
Yes.
My dad would not let us in our own living room.
You said that.
It's just you need to speak.
Did he
to
put
him.
some kind of covers on the?
He just wouldn't let us in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, because it's mainly the place where the company comes.
People
right?
sat there
Right,
once a year,
right.
basically.
It was where you showed off.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
But now-
exactly.
You put out your best stuff and you showed off,
But we
and
don't
nobody
live
was
that way
allowed to touch
now.
it.
I mean, who lives that way, right?
No, we don't.
So how do you make it updated and you have a piano, but it doesn't feel stuffy in there?
No, we decided to go neutral and very comfortable, casual in its own way. I mean, the whole bones of the room speaks to casual. It's got beautiful beam ceilings, big hearth plate with all stone hearth. So you have immediately materials that you want to work with that say casual. You know.
But Albert, this is not something everyone can do. This is special. I mean, this is what I'm always overwhelmed by, that you're not coming in and imposing your design sensibility. You're kind of integrating the space around you, so it feels like it's been there forever, but
It's not in your face,
it also
right?
feels very usable and cozy.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, you pick fabrics that speak to people that are cozy and comfortable. We used wool and chenilles and
So textures that
textures.
are
Everything
that are
was
soothing
textured.
in a way,
Yes,
right? That
yes. Nothing
almost
too high polished.
uh-huh.
We have glass top tables, but if you look at the bases of the glass, they're wrought iron.
So we don't
And
want velvet.
no, no.
Yeah.
We have a cut velvet there. There's everybody falls in love with. It's a Jacqueline or Larson fabric that is just stunning. It's got a little bit more contemporary feel to it, but we pick colors of taupe and amber. Just
And speak to that because I have a hard time picking a sofa, and I know you have a you don't like your sofa. You
My
were saying.
sofa is so low that it feels like I'm in a
And you're
dental
like- you're
chair.
like-
I hate. You know what, Albert? I hate my life right now. When I see this house, I cannot believe I don't have this.
Well, what's going to happen is you have to now make over your living room after you finish your garden that you're
And
doing
then
all
I've
that
got to
trenching.
call
and-
in Albert.
But
The big
seriously,
guns.
help us have the mindset of shopping for a great sofa in a living room where we don't feel stuffy. It's that rich texture that you're talking about,
Right.
but it's also going to last a few years. I mean,
yes,
they're
it is.
expensive.
Yeah, they are. The qualities that we're dealing with, I have a tendency to pick things that are less of that American style that is way overstuffed. I like things that have a nice big feel to the more seating space and smaller arms, which is a little bit more English than it is American. And
But that can still be really comfortable.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't do those big, heavy, deep-seated sofas because people have a hard time getting in
They
and out
they
of them.
can't get out. They're never
Yeah.
going to leave.
I have to have a tow rope to get out of those things. You know, it's difficult. You're right.
And the wall color. Talk about this because it is kind of a taupey,
Yes,
buttery shade
yes.
of color. What would you call that?
Well, it's a mix. We actually had two fellows, Adam and Zoo, who came here and really did the most beautiful job on it. It's a 5-step process. They used a primer from Dunn Edwards, and then they put on a taupe base, and then we built it up with 2 layers of taupe glaze, and then
Wow.
they did a cinnamon glaze over the top of that.
And those are all translucent glazes that have a bit of color, so
Yes.
it gets that depth. Correct?
Yes.
And this
I
is
see.
the Dunn Edwards paint that you
Yes.
use,
And the actual walls themselves the original walls are not flat. They have a lot of texture to them, a Spanish house. So this really enhances the texture.
And then you have a lot of really fine artwork that you have displayed.
Yes, we actually asked Alexander Mihailovich, who is a fabulous
Oh,
artist.
he's my best friend on Facebook.
And he's wonderful. He actually came forth and did 2 paintings for the room.
Wow.
Behind the big painting, there's a niche, like a library niche, and we decided not to have another accessory in the room too overbearing to have too much. So we asked him if he would build a 8-foot long by 7-foot high painting to go on that wall, and then the Steinway piano sits right in front of it to the side, and he designed the entire piece for that space.
Wow.
And did this fabulous framing. It's got corrugation, and he likes to do things that puts like catalog numbers on things.
Jeez.
So he did this copper frame that matches perfectly into the color scheme.
So Albert, what's your process? You walk into a room, and are you looking at what you're going to impose in terms of furniture first, or does it come from the fabrics and the textiles and the paint color? How do you do it? Just so you can help our listeners get some of you in them.
Well, my thought was I wanted to do a warm palette. That was my first idea and intention even before I walked into the space. I had this concept. I saw the room had all of these bones that were very natural, and it just spoke to me to be a little bit less clear color and a little bit more textural. And because you had so many textural elements going on already, it would help enhance them.
And you also have curtains that look really rich but not too stuffy and fancy.
They're wool and
Help
silk.
well, that sounds fancy right there.
Yeah, but
They don't look
No, they're not.
they don't look
have a-
ornate
No.
is what I'm trying to say. And I think picking curtains or wall furnishings are difficult as well. That's a difficult process. Was that like the last step in your process, or was that one of the early decisions?
Well, one of the things about this house is it's got smaller windows from the 20s, and strangely enough, we like things that give height to rooms. So the curtains were hung at a very tall height. So I asked the homeowner if I could actually use her curtain rods and hang my curtains on them. But we had this giant size wall right above the window. So we filled it in with woven wood blinds, it masks all of that wall space and makes the windows look very tall. Sherry and I, my partner Sherry, like to do curtains. We are really known for our fine drapery. And so I thought it would be great. We built up, there's these beautiful windows that have radius top alcoves. So what we did is we had our carpenter contractor make up 3 cornice boxes to match that other side of the room with the arches.
Oh, I see.
And then we had those made to.
That's interesting. It's an
top.
interesting trick. So the windows are not as high as the cornice boxes.
Correct.
They're higher, so it does give you your eye the
that it keeps on
the
going.
illusion that it is much taller. That's
Infinity
beautiful.
and beyond.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Albert, thank you for sharing these tips. I mean, it really is a soothing, kind of a grounded room.
Albert, can I put you on speed dial?
What is your website?
I gotta have you.
What is your website? It's Henry Johnstone and Company.
Yes, and our website is henryjohnstoneco.com.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing your vision. What a great living room.
Beautiful.
You know.
Yep.
Well, the fun continues as we are going to continue giving you this this journey through what is truly one of the most spectacular homes that's really on the map, and it's known as the Pasadena Showcase House. And even though you aren't able to be here, don't worry, we're going to give you the ideas as we walk you through the steps and the different rooms.
Yeah, but also do take a look at yourhomewizards.com to see some of these images, because if you haven't seen it, you're missing out.
And we also have the photos up on Facebook. If you go to Facebook.com/Home Wizards, we have all the different the spaces from the inside and the outside all there.
That's right.
And if you listen, you can hear the birds chirping.
Listen.
Can you hear that? You can barely.
Well, now they didn't do anything. Now, see, they're totally messing with us.
Well, more great ideas to improve your home and improve your life coming your way. Our case study in the form of this 1920s beautiful Spanish home that's been made over by top designers in California, known as the Showcase House. And the paint colors, your palette, what was used, you're going to find that out next as we talk with the color specialist on what they came up with. Some cool colors like wine stain and caramel bar. You get hungry and get thirsty.
There she is right there. Say
Eric
hi.
Stromer,
Yay.
Cindy Dole, Home Wizards are back in a moment. All right, Eric, I showed you the roses just moments ago.
You know what? They're better than mine. They look better. They're greener. They're healthier.
not.
Yes, they are.
No, come on.
You know they are.
We're friends.
We are.
We're
But
givers.
you keep rubbing it in my face.
I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
you
encouraging you to love roses, and I'm encouraging you listening now that it's so easy when you have this Bayer Advanced product. And here's the deal. I'm still learning as a gardener too.
Right.
I make mistakes. I kill plants. But the thing is, not intentionally.
No.
But the thing is, this Bayer Advanced all-in-one rose care product. I mean, it really does make you a genius.
Yeah, and I love the granules.
And you got it,
and
didn't you?
I got it, and I
So all
used
you
it.
do is you get these granules, Bayer Advanced all-in-one rose and flower care. You can get the liquid, but I prefer the granule. You put a little cup in there at the base of the rose bush. You water it. Done.
Goes right into the soil.
And the blooms are just like enormous.
Then you have Cindy-like roses.
Well, you
not
have
wilty
Eric
ones.
No, you have Tournament of Roses. So check it out. Go to BayerAdvanced.com. Better science, better results in the blue bottle. BayerAdvanced.com. You knew I had to go with one of those.
Yeah, that's the lovely Billy Ocean.
It is. I bet you can sing it better though, Eric Stromer. Come on, let's hear it.
Yeah, there it is.
I have to razz him because Eric Stromer not only does home improvement, but he sings a mean song.
That's right.
Anyway, Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, Home Wizards, where we love to help improve your home and improve your life. What is the color? Well, dozens and dozens of them. Where to begin? We are at the most beautiful Showcase House home tour you can see in the country. Every year, they do it in Pasadena, in the San Gabriel Valley area of Southern California. And it's a great way to walk through and get ideas. And we as a show like to walk you through with us so you get inspired for your home and for your garden. And so when you go through this, everyone gets to take home a program. And then in the program is this palette. And when you look at that palette, Eric, what speaks to you?
The fact that I have all the wrong colors.
Oh, no, you
in my own
don't.
home.
No, you
Look at these
don't.
colors, everybody. They're beautiful.
It's not about right and wrong, but describe the names. What do we have?
You've got caramel bar, you've got woodland walk, paper sack, military green, and then every one of them makes you think, well, this could go in any room in my house.
Tea bag, Arabian red. So these are beautiful, very descriptive colors. And I think that the woman with us might even help name those colors.
That is correct.
It's Sarah McLean. Here she
Hi,
is
Sarah.
with Don
Good
Edwards.
morning. Good morning.
Hi.
She is a color specialist who always has her eye on color, and she's dressed in salmon and purple and pink and beautiful
By the way, you know what? There are no mistakes in what she's chosen here. No.
I'm
my best.
betting
Yep.
that you dream in color, right?
I do.
Do you really?
I do.
As a little girl, you would dream, and
Always
you'd see
color.
unicorns and puppy dog tails.
And by the way,
More interiors than exteriors.
by the way, I dream in total blackness.
No,
There's
you-
nothing.
no, you
no color
don't.
whatsoever.
Oh, come
Until
on.
the coffee kicks in.
Then
Yes.
that's color.
a
That's
wide
color.
world then.
That's your coffee right there on your tea bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, Dunn Edwards has been the provider of paint and really the guide to the palette forever with the showcase.
For
now.
over 45 years, yes, we've helped. We've donated all the paint and the product to the showcase for over 45 years.
And you've worked with Dunn Edwards as a
All the
contractor.
time.
It's,
Yep.
why is it?
Yep.
It's like
Thank
the
you.
preferred paint for contractors.
You know what? We have worked with them forever. We are the preferred brand. We've been around since 1925, and that has been our core business, is working with the professional and making sure that they have the product that they need and that they're looking for. So
Yeah,
we're
and-
always formulating for
And
them.
literally, like, the good news is that you show up and there's about 500 contractor trucks and everybody's there getting their paint. It's just easy.
Right.
You're great with contractors. Thank you for doing that.
Sure,
Yeah, I've
sure.
spent a lot of years using your product.
Well,
Great,
so
thank you.
with this palette, and when you think about the palette for your own home, as you're walking through your own home, listening to the show, going, wow, maybe I should change this room or that room. It's good to kind of think of all the rooms kind of working together as a palette, right? A
That is
thread.
correct. That is correct. And so each year I work with a designer who has chosen the fabrics and the textiles and take a look at that and formulate some keywords out of this and work with them. So for this year, it's harvest colors. And
Wait, not harvest gold.
not harvest gold, not harvest gold, but harvest colors. So wine region, and so that's why these colors are saturated and beautiful and remind you of a wine region. So working with Michael Berman this year and making sure that his textiles that he chose that were representations of the home really came out through paint color as well.
But you know what's interesting to me? They also feel, to Albert's point before, muted a bit. They're not so bold.
Right.
They're sort of subtle and subdued.
They're not
It's just
neon.
peaceful feeling.
Peaceful.
So even
Yes.
though I mean, we're talking like burgundies and reds and golds and greens and blues, but yet they're kind of like a
They are a soft, muted
soft-
palette, and for historical homes, typically that is what we pull. Unless you're going more of an old Hollywood glamour, then I'd push it just a little bit. But for a Spanish, Mediterranean style home such as this, those were typically some of those colors and accents throughout the home. So I want to represent that. Pushing it in the 21st century just a little bit, but it is fairly subdued and neutral.
And then historically, were these colors, were the more vibrant colors unavailable in terms of pigments and stuff back in the 20s, or is this just a design choice of that time?
It's a design choice of that time. There were some that were available,
Right.
not all. And as a side note, I am working on a historical palette that will represent of the eras. So
Oh, wow.
stay tuned.
Oh wow!
That's
Okay, a little teaser. When you look at the exterior of this Spanish classic California style home, you see a lot of turquoise and burnt red and some golds and trim on the balcony. Was that always there? Was that the original paint, and did that also kind of help you create this palette? Because a lot of times we look at the exterior as well as the interior when we're thinking of how the rooms connect.
Right. I believe this was a designer choice recently. I'm not sure if that was the original palette at the
Got
time.
it.
I don't remember that during construction. What I remember is the interiors walking through subdued colors and then looking at the tile work throughout the home. That was a real
An inspiration,
base,
right?
a real base of inspiration to create this color.
And then how much of the color palette that you choose every year is based on what the perception of what's going to now be the new it color versus you guys kind of identifying what you're going to create as the new it color?
Well, in terms of trends, I tend to separate the two between trends and what is historical. Pasadena Showcase is known for its history, and I may push it maybe with one or two colors that I see as a little bit of a trend, such as the warm grays that are really well known right now as a trend, the yellows that are
Right.
pushing through in this next couple of years, and the greens are coming back.
Wait. Avocado?
Not
Is it
avocado,
common?
more of a fern green, more of a
That's
jungle
better.
green. There you
Okay.
go.
All right, good.
Well, there's kind of an army green or military green
Yes.
in this home, right?
Absolutely.
Which works well with the turquoises and the
Absolutely. And everything really is a cycle. So what we're seeing it come through on some of this tour and this home is coming back through trend-wise. So we are seeing retro palettes coming through the last few years. People are always going back to what are typically they call happier times. So, this year I talk about the turn of century and those colors in one of my stories. The next year it's more of the 20s and the 50s, the mid-century modern. So it doesn't really quite work here, but I can do some elements of that in color to bring that through, but I do respect the history of the home in choosing the palette, so I never sway too far from its original
intent. And then
intent.
are you looking to fashion and automobile color and all that kind of stuff to influence, or is that just secondary to your palette as a paint company?
It's secondary to the palette. Yeah, I look in terms of trending colors, I look to socioeconomics, demographics, what's out in the art world, what are designers and architects doing, and at the world at large, and then regionally, what's going on. So I bring all that down to a palette itself.
Well, so let's talk with this palette that as people, if you aren't able to see the home, we'll have all the pictures on our website at yourhomewizards.com. In fact, we have on our Facebook page the whole palette that was put out by Dunn Edwards. You have the burgundies, you have a little bit of orange and gold and butter and brown and blues and greens and taupe. I mean, that's a lot of different colors. If we were to try to incorporate all of those in our home, some of us might go, wow, that almost feels kind of chaotic, like we're trying to throw too much.
It's for a home of this size, 12 to 15 colors is about the maximum you want to do. And even that is pushing it. For an average size home, say 3,000 square feet, you may want to try 3 to 5 colors. Pick your best. Choose a neutral, choose a trim, a white or a tinted white, and then 1 or 2 accent colors to take throughout your home. For something this size, it's representing each designer's skills and their takes on their living area and their space that they're trying to envision, and also the exterior. Since we donated the paint for the exterior this year, you have to represent that in the palette as well. This year also the interiors chairs chose several other colors beyond what you see in the palette here, and while we don't represent those on the bookmark itself, you can find those at dunnedwards.com, and each of the colors represented within each of the rooms is shown.
Well, on your website too, you have a very cool thing. It's you have to go to their website, Eric, when you can. They have a palette tester, right? Talk about that little
it's a
application that you have on your website.
It's a palette previewer, and you can just test out the colors, basically rendering your own photo, your own home, interior, exterior, and working with that. It's based on a Photoshop project, so you can do that.
See, it's a great idea for those who get intimidated by vision and not having an understanding of what that would look like imposed on your home. This is a great idea.
Now, when I look at this palette, you have some of those colors in your home, Eric. I mean, that
Why,
blue.
yes, I do.
And, but that, well, come on, that's good. Well, that's why.
It is good. I think
so,
I may have
so
hit
look
the
at this.
nail on
I
the
think
head
you did.
here.
Now, before the storm, it looks
That's
very much like your living room. The Arabian red is very much like your kitchen.
And that's it.
And
then this is like the Cabernet I drank last night. There
Beautiful.
it is. Yeah, that's right.
Well, you may have heard that we did our kitchen, and it used to be orange, and now we've gone to more muted colors of the taupes and the chocolate browns and such. Does it feel like some of those muted colors are more timeless no matter what era you're talking about? A 1920s home, a 1950s? It always works?
It always tends to work.
I mean, without feeling boring, because we want to have some fun with color, too.
Absolutely. Well, what we look at, too, within the architecture, neutrals will always work, and designers do tend to gravitate towards the neutrals, whether it's warm or cool. For a Spanish-style home, it tends to be warm. For a mid-century modern home, it tends to be cool neutrals. For mid-century,
so example, cool neutral, what would that be?
Like a light gray, a soft platinum gray.
Iced blue, maybe?
Iced blue, a really crisp white.
Maybe
like
pink
whisper.
even, right? An iced pink.
Iced pink. Think the 50s.
Right.
Those colors, the vivid yellows, just really, and that's an accent, of course, not a neutral, but it's just those pops of colors. Whereas a Spanish home warm, you can, the greens tend to even be neutrals in some aspects.
And your pick of the color for 2013, I know you're studying that now.
2013 yellow, it pervades every story. So I'm going to talk a lot about yellow, more of a vivid yellow,
Love
like
it.
a bumblebee.
Love it. All right, DownEdwards.com. We can see the palette. We can
Yes.
learn from this and get a glimpse into your blog too, right?
Yes, specspaces.com is our design blog for design professionals.
Thank you, Sarah.
And
All
Sarah,
right.
I'm sorry, what time are you coming to my house to pick all my new colors? I didn't get that.
Bring me a Starbucks. I'll be right there.
She will work for coffee.
Yes.
All right, coming up. Well, who doesn't have one of those little bathrooms that you don't know what to do with, right? We're going to talk with it.
Yeah,
Hello,
me too.
raise your
Yeah,
hand.
I do.
Wait till you hear about this designer who turned a vanilla something into vavoom, dripping
Vavoom.
in color. Home Wizards, Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, having fun with you, and the fun continues after this. We were just at the Kitchen and Bath show in Chicago not too long ago, and we learned so much about the new trends and the new must-haves for the kitchen. And one of the things that people are talking about, the designers are watching, is solid surfaces. And the reason is, in fact, it's among one of the top overall trends for kitchens and baths in this country, is that the solid surface, it is a sustainable material, and it's also really easy to clean. And Eric, I know you're all about, well, easy to clean in the kitchen.
Easy to clean and keeping the
The
chicken juice
chicken.
at bay. You know what I mean? I don't like it.
Yeah, well, anyway, at DuPont, they have come up with these beautiful variations of corian, which we have in our own kitchen. And what's great about it is it looks like you see the veining of stone, but yet you don't have those cracks and crevices where the little oops is getting in there.
And one easy wipe into the sink and you're
Done. Done. So check it out. Go to cindykitchenproject.com or go to DuPont's website and look at corian. You'll see all the great ways to use these solid surfaces, also in the shower, in your bathroom, in your kitchen. DuPont's corian, it is amazing. I think that Eric is picking his paint color right now.
I'm frantically trying to find cantaloupe and melon. Is that so wrong? Yeah.
I think you just got some great free
I got
color
great
advice.
free color
Well,
advice.
anyway, the advice continues. Hi, everybody. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole. This is Home Wizards, where we love to help improve your home and improve your life. And one great way to do it, besides going to great gardens and to great places, just driving around your neighborhood, but is to go to home tours. Don't you think? It gives
Yes.
you some ideas.
And retain the services of these amazing people.
Yeah.
At least if you can't do it on your own, then you got to hire them because I mean, come on, this
And, yeah.
bathroom
Well,
is unbelievable.
So, yeah, I know you've done a lot of tiling in your life.
I have,
Oh.
and I tell you, I see a great tile job, and it makes me want
You
to.
love it.
I just have a sigh of
So
relief.
picture a little bathroom. Who doesn't have that little half bathroom, that hall bathroom, that space where you kind of go, now what am I going to do? It's just kind of a toilet and sink. Maybe it has more, but, you know, it's small. And this was a tile porcelain white, very vanilla thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything great. But
You know, and I did when I saw it in person, it didn't feel like a small bathroom.
now
and
looks,
it is
it's
a small
fresh.
bathroom.
It looks
Yeah.
fresh. Anyway, Alicia Friedman is the designer who had the vision for this, and so we thought we'd talk to her and pick her brain on how she turned this kind of ordinary bathroom into something really extraordinary. So welcome, Alicia.
Thank you.
Now,
Hi,
when,
Alicia.
When you
Good
first
morning.
saw the bathroom, talk about the white tile. How boring was it?
It was a tile that you see pretty much everywhere. A very clean white look.
That's very gentle of you. Clean.
Yes, it was clean.
I like
was
how she
different.
said pretty much everywhere you see this tile.
It was different.
So I didn't feel it was worthy of the house. My goal was to bring the house back to its Spanish colonial roots and to make it yet feel updated with its fresh color scheme.
And so you found, first of all, I got to tell you, I love the palette color of the tile.
So let's describe it.
Is that handmade, or did you have that created?
It
or
looks
is-
like an ice blue. It feels kind of like two different tones of blue
It
in
is.
there.
It
Yeah.
is. Good eye. It's a Spanish or it's a revival tile from Mission Tile West.
Oh, I spent millions of dollars there.
So
But it
it's-
has this frostiness to it,
does.
doesn't it?
And it's got the deep glaze
It
on
kind
it, so
of feels
it has
like,
two,
well, it
it's
feels like
watercolor
glaciers.
almost.
It
Yeah.
feels like glaciers in Alaska.
That's the goal. I get a lot when people come into the room.
I'm
I
in
get a lot of
glaciers. I'm on a
water,
cruise.
water or spa-like, which is great.
Yeah.
So I did use two tones. It is a matte finish, so it doesn't have a lot of sheen to it, which I thought was a nice way to add the softness to the space.
Great.
I mixed the, it's called Count Basie Blue for some of the trim pieces at the top and bottom, and then the Cadet Blue is the rest of the field tile.
And the vanity is a slightly deeper shade of blue, kind of almost turquoisey in a way.
It is. It is a little deeper. I framed out the window. When you see the bathroom, there's, I believe, an amazing view looking over Pasadena. And I trimmed that out to match the cabinet as well. It is a Dunn Edwards paint. It's called Spirit Mountain.
Oh.
And then is this a honed marble countertop?
It is.
Yeah.
The countertop is a honed Carrara marble, and the floor is another tile. It's a mosaic mosaic of the Carrera as well. But
With
that's
little grays and whites and
Yeah.
pearls, right?
It is, and it has an amazing depth and texture to it because it is a mixture of the tumbled, honed, and chiseled marble,
Yeah.
which gives you a nice grip when it gets wet as well.
And I like that little accent stripe on the floor around the perimeter of the
you.
room. It's great.
Thank you. It is a small space, so I wanted to do accents that were in scale to the size of the space, not to overwhelm it, but to frame it out really nicely. So thanks for noticing.
And you also kept the antique plumbing, or you created that look.
It was to
Kind of
create the look.
sneaky. She's
Yes.
kind of sneaky that way.
Yes, we did the new, but again, I wanted to bring the room back to the roots of the house and give the house a room that was worthy of its architecture.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And the toilet, is it your ordinary toilet, or is it
It-
one of these fancy schmancy toilets
it-
that speaks to you?
It does not speak to you. It's used as the children's bathroom, and I didn't want to tempt them with a toilet like that. But it is, but it is a Toto from Snyder Diamond, and it's the eco toilet, meaning it doesn't use too much water.
It's great.
Great.
So when you come into a bathroom space like this, are you immediately seeing the design elements, or does it take some research? How can you train us to do this?
I think what's most important is to walk into a space and try and remove everything physically attached to the walls and try and just see the bare bones of the space. When I came into this space, there was Stars and Stripe wallpaper on the ceiling.
No.
Yes.
Tacky.
And then there was the frame for the window was in a bright red, which very much detracted from the view. So when I stripped it down in my mind, I wanted to basically make the whole bathroom frame the window because, as I said, the view is amazing, and so I wanted to really frame it out like the picture it is.
Yeah, because your eye doesn't go there immediately; it goes out the window, which it
Exactly.
should, and then this is just an accent. It's
Exactly.
great.
The view draws you in, and then once you're in the space, I get a lot of people sighing and saying how peaceful it feels.
Well, the bathroom, I think, is a doable project for a lot of folks. Wouldn't you agree that it seems like it's more affordable than doing a kitchen?
Hold
for
on, I
one?
just have to go back to the red, white, and blue bathroom. I'm so relieved now that you don't have to stand at attention and
know.
salute when you're in the restroom. It's just
Exactly.
much calmer now.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
works.
we're patriotic folks, but maybe in a different room. I don't know.
Yes.
But seriously, I mean, the budget for a bathroom is going to be probably half of what a kitchen typically is.
Yeah, one thing to remember with bathrooms is a big expense is the contractors, and the other expense is the materials. So the smaller the room, the fewer materials you need to buy, the fewer square feet of tile, for example, which always helps with the budget a bit.
And you didn't have to move plumbing around?
We did not in here. The general layout of the space was correct when I came in, and that is one thing I assessed when I came into the space. So it was a matter of updating the look and the feel.
And then is this all floated with cement, or they use backer board? How they do this?
It is the
installation?
hardy backer.
Yeah,
That's
great.
a good point too. When we did get the bathroom, we did gain a few inches on each side
Right.
because
Yeah.
of what the plaster that was there previously.
Right. No, it's great.
Talk about the lighting, because this is a big thing that Eric always likes to focus on, because lighting too often comes from either below or above in a bathroom, and then you go, ooh, I look like I'm sick.
Yeah.
You want to look like it's showtime.
Yes.
And then you're going to have a great day as a result, right?
Exactly. I'm very glad you mentioned that. Ideally, in a bathroom, you have the light coming from around you. So that's why before there was a sconce above the mirror, and I invested in making the sconces one on each side of the mirror so that it gives you a better glow when you are looking at yourself.
So I really don't look hollow and like a junkie when I look in the bathroom mirror. It's just the lighting.
Exactly.
So give us some pointers as we are looking at our current bathrooms, especially if it's, well, this bathroom, while small, looks like it might be, a normal bathroom if we're living in a condo or an apartment. It has a bathtub, shower, etc. But let's say it may even be just our half bath.
Okay.
What would you advise us in terms of a color to choose?
Yes.
Or a color to avoid?
Yes. In general, to make the space feel larger than it is, the trick is to go lighter in the color palette.
You think so?
Definitely. The darker you go, the smaller the space will feel, especially in those tight spaces. The other trick to do is not to go too large on your tile. The larger you go, the smaller the space will feel.
So hence on your floor, these are little teeny tiny, like dime-sized tiles.
They are, and the special liners I put in the space, I definitely wanted the space to feel use the word again, special. So it needs the liners to kind of define the space, but I did not go very large with them because I feel like that would have made the space feel smaller.
And if you do choose a layout like this, I can't stress upon you how important the tile guy is, because this is geometry stuff. If you don't know what you're doing, all the proportions off, and it'll be terrible.
Definitely.
Right?
And the
then-
grout. If
Yeah.
the grout
Yeah.
is messy,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. It's all about the tile installer. It doesn't matter how beautiful the tile you pick is. If he doesn't install it properly, it will never look as
How do you
great.
know
Right.
that you're getting a good installer, though? What's a trick question to ask them? I guess you want to see their resume.
Have
in
you?
there.
How about, have you ever done this before? For starters.
Well, they'll say yes. I mean, seriously.
No,
is there,
you know. Well, in my opinion,
a trick question?
it's always referral. I mean,
Yeah,
if it's a guy
yeah.
or girl that have been in business for a long time, and you've seen their work, and you go to their jobs that they've done, they're going to be proud to show them off. Then you know you have the right person. What do you think?
I definitely agree. And if anybody needs a referral to
Oh,
a
yeah.
great tile installer, I'm happy to
Okay,
give the name
well,
out.
let's get the plug. What is your website, by the way?
My website is aliciafriedman.com.
And it's a tricky spelling. It's Alicia, and then there's 2 N's in Friedman.
Yes,
right?
there
So
are.
kind of tricky.
Okay, we're going to have to change that. That's not going to work for us.
Anyway, Lisa, thank you. This is a beautiful bathroom, and I think that we've all gotten some good ideas. I mean, think smaller tiles
Yep.
for the floor, and
Just get Alicia.
And get
That's
Alicia.
what you do, yeah.
And I love, and also we didn't get to point out that she has not only the blue, the two-tone blue tiles, but then she has kind of a creamy wall pink color. So again, it's like dividing the line in half, and
And
it
again,
makes it feel like
a
it's larger.
recurring theme: honor the space. Don't impose your will on it.
Yeah.
Make the space speak to you. I think that's
I
it.
think it's really fresh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, coming up next, as we segue into our second hour of Home Wizards, we have more fun things to share on our discovery together through a really magnificent home, okay? We're going to talk about the guest bedroom and the guest house called the casita. We're going to get some terrific
Those
ideas.
would be my quarters. Yeah.
You've been a bad boy, Eric. You're
have.
going out to the casita.
Yeah, exactly.
Cindy Dole, Eric Stromer, Home
Yeah.
Wizards, improving your home, improve your life. Well, not too bad.
Yeah,
I think you're great.
pretty good.
We're having more fun. Don't you go away. We're just getting started. We're talking about the great paint choices, the perfect palette that you can get because of Dunn Edwards Paints. It's been a long-standing tradition where they provide all the paint and all the great colored choices at the Pasadena Showcase House. But now you too can have it. And all you do is you go to dunnedwards.com, and it's a great website to decide like what's the right finish, how do I choose the perfect color. They have the perfect palette collection with 1,696 paint colors from dreamy blue to striking red. So go to Dunn Edwards, your neighborhood paint store, and let them help you add a little color to your own showcase home. And now through August 31st, you go to Dunn Edwards with your showcase bookmark coupon, and you get one free 8-ounce perfect palette sampler. The perfect amount to see exactly how a color will look just before you paint. Restrictions apply. See store for details, and for more locations, go to dunnedwards.com.